Hey guys, welcome to the show. We're about to start.
Yo, 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 Chris CFC in the vicinity with the uncopywritten beats. Let's go. Yo, check the mic on two. This ain't no diss track, true. But if your comments got the blues, I'm here to see you through. See this channel's about fun and laughs, to share the love. Not a battle for the words, sit down from above. We got opinions, yeah, we do. That's what makes us all unique. But sitting and money calling names, that's just plain weak. So let's put down the digital swords, the keyboards and the beef, and build a community where kindness is the chief. Yeah. Click clack, clips on the keys.
Hey Morpheus, buddy.
Nah, we ain't got time for that. We're here to elevate, spread the divide, sealing up the hate. So if you wanna argue, take it to the park. We're building bridges here, leaving our own mark. Peace and love, that's the only way to play. Let's keep it positive day after day. Yo, yo, yo. You wanna troll? You wanna flame? Think you're slick and cool? You're just fixing it, facts and breaking all the rules. Behind the scenes of being bold, anonymous and free. But real life's outside, so you're also me. So let's remember we're all human, just trying to connect. A little empathy goes far, show some respect, I expect. Cause negativity's a boomerang, it all comes right back. Spreading sunshine where it at, putting kindness on the track. Yeah, click clack, fingers on the keys.
Yo, this is the new channel intro. It's a little rap I made, but after this we're going straight in. Yeah, we're talking copyright strikes and fair use.
Trying to feel the breeze. Nah, we ain't got time for that. We're here to elevate, spread the vibes, sealing up the hate. So if you wanna argue, take it to the park. We're building bridges here, leaving our own mark. Peace and love, that's the only way to play. Let's keep it positive day after day. Nah, if you're feeling angry, take a deep breath, count to 10. Remember, we're all friends. Let's start again. This town is a family, a place to belong. So let's sing a different song where we all get along. Click clack, fingers on the keys. Trying to start a fire, bring it on the breeze. No, we ain't got time for that. We're here to elevate, spread the vibes, sealing up the hate. So if you wanna argue, take it to the park. We're building bridges here.
Okay, yeah, welcome to the stream. I'm not doing this on StreamYard tonight, so no one can really jump in. This is more of a information and knowledge-based stream. If anyone wants to comment or ask any questions, you can do so. Do you know what? I actually prepared this. I actually have written like 6 documents. You know, normally I just go straight in and just go with the flow. But today, yeah, there is an actual method to the madness. But yeah, welcome to the Chris CFC show. Yeah, I'm your host and your guide today. Well, I'm your host every stream I do. But yeah, what is the fair use policy? Today we are going to be addressing what is fair use, um, and how does it affect content creators, even people that just watch videos. We're going to be covering what is fair use, what to do to make sure your content is fair use, approved and legal, how to make your content fair use, and what can happen if your content is deemed not fair use. And also, fair use is a legal doctrine, it's not a YouTube rule, but YouTube use it to make their decisions. So, as I just said, the fair use policy is not created by YouTube, but YouTube do use the fair use policy to make decisions on copyright claims. The legality. Fair use is rooted in Section 107 of the US Copyright Act. Even if the audience is international, this is the foundation. Fair use principles in other countries use the same specifics of Section 107, but some of them modify, vary, or make their own policies. But yeah, when people talk about fair use, it started as a legal directive in Section 107 of the Copyright Act, and and I was surprised because the Section 7 of the Copyright Act, it was actually formed in 1976. So that surprised me because I thought the Copyright Act would have been more recent than that, since people were making content online. But, the Copyright Act probably goes back that long, due to, books, material. It probably goes back and can be used in people's artworks. It doesn't just have to be a YouTube creation, it could be any creation. So, yeah, the Copyright Act covers any creation by somebody that is theirs. So, it could be, I could steal somebody's lyrics and make a song, and I could get a copyright claim. So yeah, the act goes back to 1976, and in the UK they use exactly the same procedures of the Section 107 of the Copyright Act. So they haven't even modified, they haven't even changed it. They're using the exact same legislation that the US created. But yeah, fair use is a legal doctrine, and there's 4 factors they take into consideration when determining if something is fair use. The first consideration they take into account is its purpose and character of its use. Is it transformative, commercial versus non-profit. The second aspect they use is the nature of the copyrighted work. Is it factual versus creative? Is it published versus unpublished? The third aspect they use is the aim of the substantiality of the portion used. How much of the original work was used and changed. And then the fourth aspect is the effect upon the potential, the effect of the use upon the audience. Does it harm the original, does it harm the original work in any way? Does it defame the original creator's work? So, for example, if I made, let's say, a meme video and I use someone's work, if it's a derogatory meme video, it might make the original creator's work, look a bit, it might bring harm to it. So there's 4 factors that decide if something is fair use or not. And in a sec, I am going to go through how you can make something fair use. What happens if your content is not deemed fair use, the difference between a copyright claim and a copyright strike, and what can happen if you get so many copyright strikes. Under the Copyright Act, you can use somebody's content without their permission under certain scenarios. So, certain scenarios where you can use someone's work under fair use is like reviewing and critiquing somebody's creation. We see it all the time in our community where people will make a live stream about somebody, and then that somebody will use that person's stream for the purposes of critiquing and reviewing it. You've got parody and satire, news reporting. So, for example, if I was to report or do a news segment in a live stream, and I used another news reporter's video footage for educational purposes. So, for example, at school, a teacher might play certain videos on YouTube to educate their pupils. It doesn't have to be children, it could be even educating adults, so for any educational purposes. And also, it could be a scenario where you can commentate. So, for commentary. But yeah, using fair use correctly, for example, displaying copyright disclaimers and other measures can make your creation deemed fair use and okay to upload. But, just displaying a disclaimer doesn't mean your content is fair use. There's other factors to take into account. People think, right, I'll play someone's video, I'll just stick a copyright disclaimer running down the middle of it, and yeah, that makes my content fair use. But there's a lot more to that. These are some examples of what you can do to actually make your content actually fair use, because a lot of people a lot of people think and see people just using a fair use banner, and a lot of creators actually use other people's content and they don't even know what fair use is. To be honest with you guys, I didn't know for a long time. Oh, let me just plug my charger in because the battery's going a bit low. 1 second. Yeah, for a long time I was uploading videos and I didn't even know what fair use was. But I'm gonna go through some steps now that will tell you and help you to make any content you put out fair use. So here's a few examples. It's called transformative use. It's so important for transformative use by adding new meaning, purpose, or expression to the original creation or work will make your content follow fair use guidelines more effectively and legally. Here's some examples of transformative use. Using a clip and critiquing or reviewing it. So playing somebody's content every now and then, pausing it, saying something about it, which is what it says on the tin, blurring out any faces of anyone underage, which the underage age is 16. Even if someone is 14 or 15, they could look 18 or 19. So it's best, if possible, not to use anyone's pictures or videos at all, as without permission opens a different can of worms. So if you are going to use someone's content, blur the images out if you can. Try and keep the audio and change the visual aspect, because using someone's faces, opens up a different can of worms that goes beyond fair use. Using someone's creation, if there was a minor in or someone underage in that content, you will lose your channel instantly. Pausing the content every now and then, debating with people about it, answering questions or reading out viewers' comments, and never use the original creator's work to defame, troll, bully, dox, or anything to harass, alarm, or distress the creators original creation or him or herself. So yeah, basically fair use, even if you follow all the fair use guidelines and what you can do to make something fair use, the owner and creator of that content can still take you to court if they think, even if you follow all the steps to make something fair use, the creator can still take you to court for it. For example, here's there was a landmark case. In 2007, when people look at fair use and claims that have gone to court for people that haven't used in 2007, a company called Viacom, which is a major media conglomerate, sued YouTube for $1 billion US, alleging a massive copyright infringement. In 2007, they claimed that YouTube hosted a vast amount of their copywritten content without consent or permission. After years of litigation, YouTube largely prevailed. The case was very important in defining how copywritten law is applied to online platforms and not just YouTube. Up until this case, copyright law was a grey area, and most of the world either used or modified sections of 107 of the Copyright Act from the United States in 1976. So that's the major case, the landmark case that people refer to when using copywritten cases that have gone to court. YouTube got sued for $1 billion. Obviously, if you've got any, specific questions or anything, consult legal counsel, whether it's Google, Citizens Advice. Just make sure you use sources that are reliable. Yeah. How YouTube can detect copywritten and fair use materials. YouTube have an automated system that can detect copywritten content. Now they will send you anyone who uses content. I could use content that is fair use, but just the fact that I've used that content, YouTube will issue me a copyright claim, and I don't need to act upon a claim. Even if my work is under fair use, just the fact that I've used that content, I'll be issued a copyright claim. And the owner of that work will be notified, oh, Chris CFC used your content. And the owner has to review your publication and see if it follows fair use. But then if that owner complains against you, that's when you will be issued a copyright strike. Now, copyright strikes, they last for 30 days. Sorry, copyright strikes, they last for 90 days. And if you receive 3 copyright strikes in a 90-day period, you will lose your channel. So if you're going to use someone's content, basically make sure you try and get permission first. If you can't get permission first, at least make sure you followed the fair use policy. And if you disagree with if you agree with the copyright strike and feel that it's unjust, you can file a counter notification against it and appeal it. On your strike, it will give you the option to appeal. Just follow the prompts. When you appeal a copyright strike, I've received 3 of them, and every time I've appealed a copyright strike, I've always won. Actually, no, I'm thinking about community guideline strikes. That's a completely... But yeah, when using someone's content, try and seek permission. Document your fair use rationale for each upload. So just make a note of why you think your video meets the fair use policy. Make a checklist. As I said, there's 4. When they're deciding whether something's fair use, there are 4 elements they look for. So when using someone else's content, make sure all of them 4 aspects that they're going to look at are covered. Keep records of any original content that you're going to use, and document your fair use rationalization for using that content. But also as well, if you are appealing a copyright strike, make sure you document every single argument and dispute, as long as you use someone's content and you follow the 4 steps, which, as long as you follow the 4 steps, you're not going to have a problem. So as long as you follow the 4 steps, the purpose and character of its use, the nature of the copywritten work, the aim of the substantiality of the portion used, and the effect of the use upon the potential market. As long as you follow them 4 steps, you should be fine. And if anyone does try to take you to court over it, then the chances are they're not gonna get anywhere, and they probably wouldn't even bother. So that's basically it. That's fair use, and it's legalities. So most of the world are using Section 7 of the Copyright Act, which yeah, most of the people are using Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, which was created in 1976. Even the UK are using Section 107. But yeah, I'm surprised the Copyright Act hasn't really changed since then. But my next video is going to be about not copyright strikes, it's going to be about community guideline strikes and what happens when you receive a community guideline strike. What can you do about it? So I don't know when I'm actually going to do that live. I just do it as and when I feel like it. So if anyone's got any questions, leave them in the comments section. If you want to subscribe, hit the notifications bell. Support the channel. Big up. Take care. See you all around the YouTube universe.